Good tidings, everybody. It's guitar time, and we're going to do Say Darlin Say, a wonderful song and tune in the key of D. Tommy Jarrell played and sang it. And in the fiddle video Erynn does, there's a more complete version of the words. I'm just going to do a few words right now, and we'll focus on the guitar backup, which is a lot of fun. So,
good tune to do around the holiday season because it's all about presents.
it's about giving.
Presents or presents that didn't turn out.
We can relate to those. Say a word, Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Say, darling, say. If that mockingbird don't sing, Daddy's gonna buy you a diamond ring. Say, darling, say. Say, darling, say. Oh, that's pretty.
All right, have
A
fun,
great
guitar
melody.
players.
Thank you, Erynn. Thanks for fiddling. And let's see what we can decipher here on the guitar part. So the key of D, we know what that is. And why don't we just start out with a little bit of thinking in the key of D, just the 1-4-5 progression, some people might say, D to G and A. And in this song, it goes to the G pretty quick. You know, the words kind of help you, follow along with the way the progression goes. So D chord, and it gets to a G, G, and it goes back to the D, and a quick A, back to D. That's the whole song. So that's nice and sort of simple. So we can do some bass walk. We might even get into a little bit of melody playing. Why not? And even some drony stuff up the neck. I don't know. Who knows where we might go? Say, darling, say. We'll find out as we go. So I'm in the key of D right now. So let's just do a little warm up by doing a D chord and doing a little what I call just a bass cascade. I'm going to do the 4th string and strum, and I'm just strumming the first 3 strings. I always like to remind people that you can strum a lot of different strings and get a lot of different sounds holding the same chord. So I'm going to use the first 3 strings for my strummers, and I'm going to do the 5th string and a thumb hook. One of my favorite sounds in D is that thumb hooks the 6th string on the 2nd fret, and it's copying that note you have, that middle note of the chord, kind of the pretty note, and that's kind of the melody too. Hug ya, hush little baby, right in that middle, the pretty sweet spot sort of. So I'm gonna go D, 4, 5, and the thumb hook, just to warm up for a second, see how our chords sound. Check your tuning, and just work on how relaxed you can be with your right hand or left hand if you're playing opposite-handed. 4, 5, and a thumb hook. So before we even start walking, let's just kind of play our chords and do something with 3 or 4 strings, see what bass notes we have available. Now the G chord, let's try 6, 5, and 4 maybe, and go back the way you came. That's the best way to get home usually. When you get somewhere, turn around and go back the way you came. So let's go back to D, 4, there's your D note, and a thumb hook, G chord, G, there's your G. And now let's try an A chord. One thing to notice in an A chord is that you have a lot of ways people finger the A chord. You know, you can do a bar with the first finger on the 2, 3, 4 strings. It's a little hard to get that first string to stay open and ringing. Some people use 3 fingers in a 1, 2, 3 in a row, and some people use a little triangular shape. So whatever, I think I'll do a little bit of each of those sometimes when I'm playing. And one reason is A can be kind of wear your fingers out if you do just kind of that bar shape a lot. So it's nice to mix it, be able to be versatile in the fingering of your chords. And where you're coming from and where you're going to is going to have an impact on how you decide to finger a chord. So A, let's use, now here we have the 5th strings are A. So let's just try going 4, 5, 4, and 3. And back the way we came. That way we're kind of using adjacent strings and not jumping around. You could go 5 and 6 or 5 and 4, but let's try 5, 4, and 3. So I'm going to go ahead. This is not really the pattern of the song, but I just want to warm it up in D for a minute here. So, because it's kind of a short form song. So let's do the D chord, 4, 5, thumb hook, G chord, 6, 5, 4, and back that fifth. Now A, 5, 4, 3, and back to D. Let's do that one more time. Start here, D chord, you're in the key of D, and the G is the 4 chord, the O of O Susanna. A is the main partner, and I'm doing a bar this time, just trying that, and back to D. And remember another nice thing on the guitar, you could let your pick kind of glide, like at different speeds and things. So the form of the song is going to be, we're going to have a D chord, and we'll do the words just, hush little baby, don't say a word. So it's D chord, I'm going to use 4 and 5, and I'm going to walk to a G on the bass string, open 2, 3. Let's just do that a few times. D, 4, 5, walk, open 2, 3. Do that a few times. Here we go. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Okay? And then we're going to stay in G. Let's just hit that maybe 6 and 4. And then we're going to walk up to D, keeping that first finger on the 2nd fret, 5th string, 2, 4 on the 5th string, and then D. Let me just do that much, and that's almost the whole form. 1, 2, here I go. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Now we need an A chord, and what I think I'll do is just the A chord and the 5th string, bass, and maybe strum the first 3 strings, and I'm gonna walk up the same walk I did before, but 2, 4 on the 5th. Okay, that's the whole thing. I'll do it without singing for 1, 2, here's the pattern. Walk to G, stay in G. Walk back to D, A chord. Walk back to D. Maybe might do a little slow cascade there. And you could do, I'm walking up from the 5th string, but remember you can always walk down. I could go that much, the first 2 stanzas with that pattern. And I'm going to give you a little way to do a little bit of melody work that might be fun behind the fiddler even. So 1, 2, nice and slow. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Say, darling, say. If that mockingbird don't sing, Daddy's gonna buy you a diamond ring. Say, darling, say. The fiddle plays something higher there. You can experiment with your bass walks. Try different basses. We'll try the little higher walk. Maybe double up on a bass sometimes. Or you don't have to walk at all. I'm doing those walks, but they're kind of fun. But what makes the walk stand out sometimes is not walking all the time. So one thing you could do that'd be kind of a nice melodic thing, if you walk up on the 4th string, get the melody there, and I'm going to play my D chord here for a second. And I'm going to leave that 1st string and just kind of pivot over, keep my 1st finger where it is, and put my 2nd finger where on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. So let's just try this, strum that, and do a pivot, and just get those 2 notes. So we're going to kind of leave that 1st string open, and that's going to let us have that 3rd finger to go down to a melody note we need. And that's related to your C chord. Same sound you got there, but we have an open string there. So you got to play. You can play one way to find that is play a C chord just with 2 fingers, and go up, and you have to fret that drony D thing. So here's what I'm going to suggest for a little melodic thing. Walk up on the 4th string, 2, 3, 4, and strum twice. And we're going to walk just a bass note 2 open on 4, and the 5th string 2nd fret, the G chord, but that 5th string note, and stay there a few times. And then you have open 4, open 5, and the thumb hook D, and then the A string, open 2, 4. So let's see what that sounds like. And you could vary the rhythm of it. Sounds like the melody pretty much. You could alternate babies. So I'm experimenting a little bit. Try it again. That works pretty good. Say, darling, say. So experiment with how much melody you want to play. You could add more in there, a longer walk. So that's pretty good. So what I do sometimes when the fiddle's playing the B part, the higher notes, maybe throw that in there, which is kind of a, you don't want to do too much, but it's nice to have some options there. And it's pretty if you do it a little bit. I think I try to remind myself not to get carried away and do too much too often. So that's a good thing to tell myself here. I'll remind myself of that later. So let's do both of those one time, back and forth, without the words, just trying to hear what that sounds like. We could kind of call that like our A part backup, or backup with our singing, which is less, and then the where the fiddle's doing the higher stuff. We'll try that more melodic approach. See if that works. So 1, 2, here I go. And repeat that. Still singing going on there. You double up them. And then we'll try the high stuff. Slide, why not? You could add more or less. And one last thing that another approach is going up and doing sort of your different chord shapes, like your D chord here. If you do the next D on the guitar, you got the same notes on the first 2 strings. If I play those on the 2nd and 3rd, it's going to be 7 and 7. So sometimes I'll do those notes and go up to the 5th fret, just a triad, going up what they'd call an inversion, and use that 4th string, a nice drone for all the chord. And you'd have a D shape for your G chord on the 7th fret. Back to that D, and the A chord's an F shape. So you might use a drone tone. Depends on if they're playing it very pretty and you want a little more dreamlike thing, it gets a little magical if you're lucky. So I've got 7, 7, and 5 with my first 3 fingers, and I'm using the 4th string just as a drone tone. There's my hush, little baby, D shape on 7, don't say a word. I was going to buy you back to that D, F shape on 5, say, darling, say. So you could use those little inversions. If I went way up the neck and the F shape on 10, look out. And then you got 12, 12, 10. Back to D, just those chords in higher shapes. Isn't that pretty? If that mockingbird don't sing, Daddy's gonna buy you a diamond ring. Say, darling, say. Say, darling, say. That's a great song to work on, and I hope you got a fiddler around to play it with, because it's one of the classics. So Say Darlin Say this time around, and I hope everything goes great in your guitar adventures.